Hi, my name is Lindsay Clandfield, and this is another short video in the Studio series. In this video, I want to talk about troubleshooting online lessons, in particular, monitoring whether or not you are speaking too much. I'd like to start by talking about how certain tools, technological tools, favor a certain kind of teaching. A blackboard is a tool which favors a kind of teacher-fronted teaching, where the teacher's at the front of the room and everyone can see the blackboard. It's rather similar for the interactive whiteboard. This is a tool which favors a teacher-fronted at the front of the class kind of teaching, and usually a lockstep kind of teaching, where everyone is in sync together following what's going on the board. Video lessons are, in a way, similar. The tools that we use to do video lessons are tools such as Zoom or Google Meet or Teams. These are tools that were originally intended and promoted in a business setting for business use. So they were kind of made to promote the kind of interaction that you might see more in a business setting. Things like small team meetings, where one person is talking at a time, or things like presentations, where one person is presenting ideas to another group of people, smaller or bigger. Of course, it has started changing a little bit during the pandemic, but it may be the case that many teachers on a video conference call using one of these tools find themselves in a situation where they feel like they are the ones talking all the time or talking too much. There are two reasons as well that that this is also becoming more of a problem, and these have been actually studied during the pandemic. The fact that in video conferences we are deprived of a lot of our body language. So here you can see me from my shoulders up. You can't see the rest of my body or my body language in general. So occasionally that means that we overcompensate by speaking more. Also, the fact that when you are in a video conference class, if you can see yourself on the camera, it sometimes makes you feel awkward to just be sitting there looking at yourself being quiet as the teacher. So I often feel, if I can see myself on the camera, that I should jump in and say something. So the combination of these two things and others have contributed to what is sometimes called Zoom fatigue. If you find yourself really tired after a class, it could be because of this. And the fact that you've been speaking a lot more than perhaps normal is also contributing. So these tools, our video conferencing tools, aren't necessarily incompatible with language teaching, but language teaching, and especially communicative language teaching, is often built around the idea that several people, students and teacher, may be talking at the same time in a classroom, so as to maximize student talk time. In the face-to-face classroom also, the teacher tends to get more breaks when the students aren't looking at her or him all the time. They may be writing or talking in pairs and so on. Here then are 5 suggestions that I have for you to think about if you feel that you are really tired after your online classes or that you've been talking too much. First of all, start monitoring yourself to see if you are speaking that much. Maybe record one of your classes and then watch it afterwards and see how much actually you were doing the speaking. Also, set tasks where cameras, including your camera, don't have to be on all the time. So times where they may be doing a reading or listening task, turn your own camera off so you aren't just watching yourself sitting there in silence. Start sharing around the teaching elements of the class. You can ask students to read out instructions or to read explanations so that you aren't always doing all of them. Finally, instead of always giving and speaking the instructions, you could put some of these on slides and ask students to read the slides to themselves while you turn your camera off. Give them a moment to read the instructions. Then check back the instructions with someone explaining it again in their own words. Finally, many of our tools now include the possibility of doing breakout rooms. So use these as and when you can. Okay, I know that it's sometimes difficult to set up the breakout rooms, but the more you use these, the more you will have a little bit of a break and students will gain more speaking time. And indeed, for the first part of a breakout room, once students know what they are and how those go forward, before you circulate and visit each breakout room, let them warm up by themselves. Get up, walk around the room, and give your mouth a break. By monitoring our own talking time and following some of the suggestions I gave just in this session, we can perhaps end up being less exhausted at the end of our online classes and bring our online classes closer to the kind of teaching we're doing in the face-to-face classroom. Good luck with it, everyone.